Tonight's story is The Teacher from the Black Lagoon. It's the first day of school. I wonder who my teacher is. I hear Mr. Smith has dandruff and warts, and Mrs. Jones has got a whip and a wig. But Mrs. Green is supposed to be a real monster. Oh my, I've got her. Mrs. Green, room 109. What a bummer. I sit at my desk and I fold my hands and I close my eyes. I'm too young to die. Suddenly, a shadow covers the door. It opens. In slithered Mrs. Green. She's really green. She's got a tail and she scratches her name on the blackboard with her claws. Freddie Jones threw a spitball and she curled her lip and breathed fire on him, and Freddie was gone. There was just a little pile of ashes next to his desk. Talk about bad breath, giggled out Eric Porter, and she slithered over, unscrewed his head and put it on the globe stand. I bet she gives homework the first day of school. Your homework today, grins Mrs. Green, smoke rising from her nostrils, is pages 1 to 200 in your math book. All the fraction problems. We never have fractions, shouted Derek Bloom. Come up here, she beckoned with her claw. Derek stood by the desk. This is a whole boy, she said. Whoop, one whole boy. She took a great big bite. This is half a boy. Now you've had fractions. Doris Foodle cracked her gum. Mrs. Green swallowed her in one gulp. No chewing in class, she smiled. Mr. Bender, the principal, stuck his head in. Keep up the good work, he nodded, and he closed the door. I wish I could get sent to the principal's office. Let's call the roll, cackled Mrs. Green. Freddie Jones is absent. Derek Bloom is half here. Eric Porter is here and there, and Doris Foodle is digesting. What about spelling? Shouted Randy Potts. Spelling can be fun, beams Mrs. Green, wiggling her fingers at him. Abracadabra kazam! That's tough to spell, said Randy, and suddenly there was a flash of light, a puff of smoke, and Randy turned into a frog. Penny Webster raised her hand. Can I go to the nurse? She whined. What's wrong? Said Mrs. Green. I've got a huge headache, said Penny. Mrs. Green wiggled her fingers. There was another flash of light, and Penny's head was the size of a pin. Better, said Mrs. Green. It's not huge anymore. Now it's nap time. Everyone who still has one, put your head on the desk. I hope I make it to recess. Sweet dreams, she cackled. I closed my eyes. Suddenly the bell rang, and I woke up. There was a pretty woman writing her name on the blackboard. She had real skin and no tail. I'm Mrs. Green, your teacher, she smiled. I jumped out of my chair. I ran up and hugged her. Well, thank you, she said. I'm glad to be here. Not as glad as I am. He'd had a dream. He was dreaming it all about that awful Mrs. Green. But real Mrs. Green was lovely. I hope your teacher's lovely. Night, night.